Aya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 22. Bali Maharaj surrenders his life. So we read till text number 26. We were talking about that one should not have pride if one has high birth, wealth, education, beauty, or other anything. One should, and still does not have pride. That's a special mercy, because it's very easy to develop pride even if one has one thing, let's say a lot of wealth or some beauty or some. But Bali Maharaj didn't have all that, so certainly had a lot of mercy of the Lord. Let's read 27. I think Nandini Mataji wants to read. Yes, Mataji, please, you can read them. 27. Hare Krishna, we can't hear you, Mataji. Can you read? Mataji, you're not audible. Is it just me or?
We can't hear also.
Okay. Okay. Munna Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sure. Text 27. Manstambha nimittanam janmadinam samantatam sarvashreya pratipanam hantav muhayen na matparaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although aristocratic birth and other such opulences are impediments to advancement in devotional services because they are cause of false prestige and pride, these opulences never disturb a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: devotees like Dhruva Maharaja, who was given unlimited material opulences, have the special mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Once Kuvera wanted to give Dhruva Maharaja a benediction, but although Dhruva Maharaja could have asked him for any amount of material opulences, he instead begged Kuvera that he might continue his devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When a devotee is fixed in his devotional service, there is no need for the Lord to deprive him of his material opulences. The Supreme Personality of Godhead never takes away material opulences achieved because of devotional service. Although he sometimes takes away opulences achieved by pious activities, he does this to make a devotee prideless or to put him in a better position in devotional service. If a special devotee is meant for preaching but does not give up his family life or material opulences to take to the service of the Lord surely takes away his material opulences and establishes him in devotional service. Thus, the pure devotee becomes fully engaged in propagating Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji. So I think we discussed this yesterday as well, that aristocratic birth, opulence, wealth, beauty, a lot of name, fame, education, etc. They are disturbance. They are disturbance in bhajan. They are disturbance in the path of bhakti for the majority of the population. And therefore, we see that why they are disturbance? Because the person feels, well, I have everything I need. I have servants, I have good home, I have good food, I have good wealth, I'm so intelligent, I have good education, degrees. I can buy anything I want, I can go to any place I want. What is the need of God? I am God. I have everything at my disposal. So it leads to pride, and that does not allow one to take shelter. Stamba, damba, one becomes blind in one's own world. But, here there is a but. But if someone is a pure devotee, that person will not be disturbed by all of these things. So I want to kind of share one story which is quite relevant in this connection. And this is the story of Pundrik Vidhyaniti. So just a photo here I just got. So Pundrik Vidhyaniti was a pure devotee of the Lord. Just a painting someone made, I guess. So when Gadhadhara Pandit, whose appearance day is today, went with another devotee, he went to have a Mukunda, right? Mukunda. So Mukunda and Gadhadhara Pandit used to always see the saintly people. And generally when we talk about saintly people, we don't talk about opulence. But when Gadhadhara Pandit saw Pundrik Vidhyaniti, very fine silken robes, very nice oil hair, very nice soft cushions. The fingers had rings in all the 10 fingers, gold rings, chewing betel nut. And Gadhadhara Pandit thought, where did Mukunda bring me? I thought we were going to see a great devotee. And then Mukunda said a shlok about Krishna's compassionate nature towards Mata Putra. And then how Pundrik Vidhyaniti was rolling in ecstasy. So there are multiple lessons there that one should not judge devotees, point number one. Other point which is relevant to this verse, that all these things, Pundrik Vidhyaniti had a lot of wealth and opulence, but it didn't disturb him. Why? Because he was a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but it's the example may be appealing, but it's not so easy to follow. One time it was someone asked a devotee, whom do you want to follow? Someone replied, I want to follow Pundrik Vidhyaniti. So if we honestly ask ourselves, we'll get the answer. Is it because of the pure devotion he had, or is it because of a lot of wealth he had? So we all know the answer if we look inside. So the point here is that yes, for pure souls, Prabhupada is a classic example as well, that in his household life, in the last couple of lines, Prabhupada is kind of sharing his story, that Prabhupada is meant for preaching, but he didn't give a family life, and then Kṛṣṇa made those arrangements that he had to give up his family life and then preach fully. And then the wealth he got, or the wealth people donated for building thousands, hundreds of ISKCON temples, centers, projects, book distribution, unimaginable. Would he have ever imagined with from 40 rupees to $40 million practically? That's in just at the age of 70 years. No one starts a business or thinks making from 40 rupees to 40 million at the age of 70. So if Kṛṣṇa wants to take, we cannot stop with our two hands because he'll take with thousands and unlimited hands. And similarly, if Kṛṣṇa wants to give with unlimited hands, what can we hold from two hands? So quite nice example. So we should not judge, in short. The point is we should not judge. At the same time, be careful. Okay, Nandini Mataji, you want to try now? If it's feasible. 28.
Yes, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, now it's good.
Oh, good. Okay. Then was Esha Danava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhanaha Ajeshi Dajayam Mayam Sidannina Muyati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bali Maharaja has become the most famous among the demons and non-believers. For in spite of being bereft of all material opulences, he is fixed in his devotional service. Purport. In this verse, the word Siddhan, Apina, Muhyati are very important. A devotee is sometimes put into adversity while executing devotional service. In adversity, everyone laments and becomes aggrieved. But by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee, even in the worst condition, can understand that he is going through a severe examination by the personality of Godhead. Bali Maharaja passed all such examinations as explained in the following verses. So he has become famous. This is the first time that his fame has been achieved. Now he's 13th Mahajan and famous amongst demons and non-believers. That's even more difficult for demons to see that fame. And because although his all opulence is gone, he's fixed in his devotional service. I mean, and that's the real fame. If anybody is famous for anything else, why does it matter? And Prabhupada again continues this theme of a devotee is sometimes put into adversity, but by the grace of God, even in the worst condition, he passes all these examinations, which is really difficult exams to pass, and it's really difficult to surrender. It's really difficult to give that attachment when you are in so much pain. And to one who has attained fame, this fame, Prabhupada says this many times, that to him, if that fame is taken away, then it's the worst. If somebody has no fame, that's fine, but it's the worst condition of life. And we see the real devotee, who is a real devotee, only when they are passing to the test. Gold has to be beaten up by the sonar hundreds of times, and then then you get the pure gold, and purity comes out. Is such time only pure devotees, then only you can figure out who is a pure devotee. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. This verse is, I think, it's so, it struck me so much that everyone goes through adversities. It's not that materialistic people don't go or devotees don't go. Everyone goes through adversities. Especially like nowadays, we know that everyone is going through some or the other adversity. Health challenges, loss of a dear one, wealth issues, financial job losses, and so many adversities. Everyone is going through. The whole world is going through some form or the other. And pretty much majority, what do? Lamenting and aggrieved. That's the majority's response. Lamentation, cursing the Lord. Why God did this to me? Why God did this to me? I was so kind. I never did wrong to God. Or why God? But by the grace of the Lord, A devotee, even in the worst condition, can understand that he's going through an examination. In short, he never complains, he is grateful. As Her Grace Nitai Sevani Mataji said, we may not be grateful for all the situation, but we can be grateful amidst all the situations. So, very, very nice point here. And actually, I was talking to Ramya Prabhu just before this call. They had a emergency situation last night, and I just called to see. And now they're okay. Mataji had to be rushed to the emergency care. So I was just calling to see how they are doing, and like he was like joking with me, and he's like, okay, whatever Krishna arranges is good only, like really living those. And then he started talking about the preaching activities, and I said, Prabhu, take it easy, take it, we'll talk about this later. You're in the hospital, we can discuss this topic later, it's not urgent. And he said, no, I mean, we're okay. So it's like, it was like, I was like, they're 70 or plus years, but complete surrender, complete that mood of every moment is for Srila Prabhupada. Every moment being grateful, not complaining. He was joking with me that I need to ask the hospital people to give a little more food because we both are eating this food. I was like, so, but it's not easy to be grateful in all situations, especially in difficult situations. So, but great souls like Bali Maharaj, like Prabhupada, and all the genuine devotees of Prabhupada, they never complain. This is what Lord Brahma is also teaching in his prayer. What's that famous shloka? 10:14:8. Namaste Jivetya Mukti Pradesh. What's the first line?
Satyanukampan Shishumukti.
Satyanukampan Sashishravano Bhunjana Eva Kruta Prutak.
Yes, Satyanukampam Sushami. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhu. So that's basically this verse, that those great souls, they are even in the, I heard another verse which is in the same, the Vipati becomes Sampati. For those who remember Krishna, Vipati means a difficult situation, an adverse situation. That becomes an arrangement to make more spiritual progress. And I am sure that we can all relate in our lives that whenever we were in a difficult situation, we prayed to Krishna, or devotees pray to Krishna much more intensely, with great feeling, with great love, with great gratitude. And some devotees joke that sometimes the flight is in a very, very turbulent mode. And then that chanting is the best chanting, because we don't know that the flight is going to land or not, right? So, okay, let's see the next two verses are together. Ikant Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Krishna Rikthas Chaitas Sthanata Kshapito Badascha Chaturbhihi Jnatabhischa Parityakto Yathanam Anuyaptiha Guruna Varstitah Sapta Jaho Satyamna Shuvartaham Chalair Upto Maya Dharmo Nayam Tyayate Satyavak. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Although bereft of his riches, fallen from his original position, defeated and arrested by enemies, rebuffed and deserted by his relatives and friends, although suffering the pain of being bound and although rebuffed and cursed by his spiritual master, Bali Maharaj, being fixed in his vow, did not give up his truthfulness. It was certainly with pretension that I spoke about the religious principles. But he did not give up the religious principles, for he is true to his word. Purport. Bali Maharaja passed the severe test put before him by the spiritual Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a full proof of the Lord's mercy towards his devotee. The Supreme Personality of Godhead sometimes put a devotee to severe tests that are almost unbearable. One could hardly even live under the conditions forced upon Bali Maharaj. That Bali Maharaja endured all these severe tests and austerities is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord certainly appreciates the devotee's forbearance, and it is recorded for the future glorification of the devotee. This was not an ordinary test. As described in this verse, hardly anyone could survive such a test, but for the future glorification of Bali Maharaja, one of the Mahajanas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead not only tested him, but also gave him the strength to tolerate such adversity. The Lord is so kind to his devotees that when severely testing him, the Lord gives him the necessary strength to be tolerant and continue to remain a glorious devotee. Thank you, Prabhuji.
What are your thoughts, Prabhuji, on this?
Sure, Prabhuji. It's certainly, Prabhuji, it's like, even I always remember that about any material things that we see, that iron, gold, and any articles that we see, I'm just talking about material things, because I'm a material person right now, not in a way that really see that value. But people see that end ornament, a beautiful end ornament, and they say, "Oh, wow, it's very beautiful," but it will go through a lot of pain, meaning that someone has to put the material in severe temperatures and they have to mold it, right? And it's going to be a beautiful ornament or a material that would come out. Similar way, God would also, Lord Supreme Govinda will also test us by putting us in different situations to basically, I think it could be testing our flinching devotion, whether we are purely in a devotion path, or do we really stick to that, or do we fall down? Because oftentimes when we are put in a situation where we have to, sometimes I feel like, I sometimes, to escape from the situation, I might just give some random answer and get away from it, even though I know that is not right. But it's a situation, we should accept that it as a situation where Govinda is putting us in, and really seeing how sincerely we are learning all these scriptures and how sincerely we are implementing in our day-to-day life to be in the devotion path. So this is one of the example for situation for me. But a devotee like Bali Maharaj, he's a devotee to the next level for me. That's why it's really, God is being showing different things, like nobody is whoever is there with him so far went away, and he was completely punished. Whatever wealth he acquired, it's all gone. And even the spiritual master who was supporting him all through is also went away. He was like left alone. But even then, he was purely, he was more offering his devotion. He was obeisance and devotion to Supreme Personality. And that is really a great situation. I mean, it's nobody would really be there at this point, but it shows like how we should be, how we should aspire to be, and how we should respond to situations that we encounter day-to-day life. That's exactly what I understood, probably. Please add, correct what I understood.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. In schools or any form of education, there are teachers, right? And the teachers take some tests or examinations, or even the parents take some tests or examination. Are the teachers or the parents well-wishers of the student? Yes or yes? Yes. Okay, everyone said yes. So similarly, the Lord takes examination of his devotee. Not, and the teachers and the students, the teachers and the parents, do they want the students to fail in the exam? No, they want the student to pass the exam, right? They are the well-wishers of the student. And they will not take a test which the student is not meant for. For example, if the student is in grade 5, they will not ask about, calculus. They'll ask grade 5 questions. They'll ask whatever is taught in grade 5 or whatever the student is supposed to learn in grade 5. But the test will come. Grade 1 test is there. It's different from a grade 10 test. Similarly, the college tests are different from the grade 5 tests. So as we keep progressing, the Kṛṣṇa will keep taking tests. But there's a little different. There are surprise tests. They will come without an examination date. And what is the Lord telling us? It is really brilliant purport. We can kind of frame it, I guess. I am feeling like that. The Lord is so kind to his devotee that when severely testing him, the Lord gives the necessary strength. Isn't it amazing? The Lord is giving the strength to pass that test, to be tolerant, to be humble, to continue to be a glorious devotee. It means the Lord is wanting us to pass that test. The Lord is showing all the support for us to pass that test. The tests are specifically tailor-made. They are not one size fits all. They're not like a first grader test and a 10th grader test and a college level test. They're all not the same. They're specifically tailor-made. So the Lord will take tests through different situations, through different interactions, through material allurements at times, through provoking situations, through adverse situations, sometimes through happiness, sometimes through distress. How do we live by the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra in those situations? That's the test. So the Lord is there to help us, but we have to also do our part. Like the teachers and the parents are there to help us pass the test. They are not there to make us fail the test. They are there to support us. But at the same time, we have to show our sincerity also, our eagerness, and our attempt also is required. Just by teacher support and parent support, one will not pass the test. One has to show the sincerity as well. And this is what pleases the Lord. Bali Maharaj's example, it was a very difficult test for him, much more than any one of us could ever be going through. His bereft of all the things, position, riches, relatives. He was bound in front of his own kingdom, from a great, great king to just completely a pauper. And then the Guru rebuked, the Guru cursed, everyone, like nothing was going right in his life from an external situation, right? Very, very difficult test. But he passed with flying colors. Any other comments, additions anyone has?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. I wanted to add something.
Yeah, please, Mataji, sure.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So there's a famous story about a guy. He asked God, "Oh God, you're always walking by my side, but I saw, during the course of life, when there were most difficulties, I only saw one set of footprints. How come you left me during the worst periods?" And the God says, "Because I carried you at that time." And that's why you see only one set of footprints, because Krishna carries us. And the same example we see in Sita Devi's. Krishna, Lord Ram wanted to get Maya to prove to the world that Sita is a chaste lady. So then she was given Agni Pariksha. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. The most difficult tests are given to those whose purity and example Lord wants to show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing those two wonderful pastimes and stories. Anyone else has any other comments, additions, thoughts, questions? Okay, so it's time. We will pause here and continue tomorrow with the next verse. We can really meditate upon these few verses which we read today. A lot of important lessons in these verses, especially in this time and age. I mean, this could be a great support also, because a lot of people are going through adverse situations. We can try to at least share this, or based on the situations, things that are very important and practical to help us and to help anyone going through a difficult time. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhya patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Dandava.
Hare Krishna.